news has broken that N'Golo Kante could be arriving at West Ham United. Now, I don't know how to feel about this one. I really don't. On the one hand, he's who's me, a good player. He played all the games for France in the Euros. £20 million for a 33-year-old. I don't get the West Ham policy at the minute. I really don't. I really don't. I cannot work out for the life of me that where West Ham are going with this sort of transfer sort of policy. The strategy just doesn't make no sense. Like, you go and get rid of Flynn Downs for 18 million, and then you want to go and sign a 33-year-old. Like, I get he's a quality player, but you've got to have some sort of standard in regards of, ability, age, sell-on value. It just feels like we're chucking 20 million down the drain to a point. Now, N'Golo Kante is a top quality player, and if West Ham's budget wasn't as tight as it is, then I think you can take a punt on him for a couple of years. Yeah, get him in, bring him to the club, etc. But West Ham can't do that at present. West Ham haven't got the resources to do that. So, £20 million, excuse me, for a player that is coming to the end of his career is a bit, toss of a coin on that one. So listen, put your comments in. Let us know what you think in the comment section below about N'Golo Kante. Now, I'm going to talk about what I see on AFTV the other day. Now, AFTV put something out on Twitter. Now, West Ham are looking at a double deal for Reece Nelson and Eddie Nketiah. Honestly, if we go and sign Eddie Nketiah, I do not understand the transfer fucking strategy. Do you know what I'm saying? I really don't. Eddie Nketiah for me is a no-no. Yeah, you want someone who's going to come in and replace Mikel Antonio long term. Someone who's like Mikel Antonio, strong, powerful, good in the air, good in the ground. Eddie's not that guy. He flopped at Leeds. He's been at Arsenal, and yeah, he scored a few goals at Arsenal, but he's not the solution. And a £50 million deal for Reece Nelson and Eddie Nketiah. Is this what we've come to now? £50 million. That's taking the piss out of us. I'm not going to lie, right, for that sort of money. Now, I'll see what Keynes has said there. Keynes said another hidden gem. For me, not for me. Probably our best player, to be fair. Nah, I'm not on it with the old Kante thing, but I will get to the comments in a minute. But Eddie Nketiah and Reece Nelson for £50 million, 25 mil each. That's taking the piss out of us. That is really taking the piss out of us now. Now, I'm going to say this, and a lot of people have said it on social media, but I'm going to say it on here. What is going on with Tim Steidten? Like, seriously going on. Yeah, because we bring in an 18-year-old, like, teenager, right, in, people think he's the Messiah all of a sudden. Now, we need a centre-forward at this club, and we still can't identify a centre-forward to come to West Ham United Football Club. That is just not right. He's had a whole year to scout the whole of this planet for a striker to come to West Ham and get it pinpointed right now. And we're being linked with people that are, like, dusted at their own club. Like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Callum Wilson, Romelu Lukaku, I see get mentioned, who's like done nothing at Chelsea, yeah? Eddie Nketiah. These are not star names. And a few years ago, we was going out and we was buying players in their prime, ready to go right now. Paqueta, Alvarez, Kudus, right? Now, we're going for geezers that are literally surplus to requirements at their own club. And I see another link just a minute ago before I went live. West Ham are umming and ahhing over Wan-Bissaka because they don't want to pay the money. It's just, it feels like a scattergun approach. People don't like to hear that word scattergun on West Ham, but it feels like a scattergun approach. It feels like Sullivan is all over this. He really is. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm going to get through them right now. William says, I think Kante has 3 to 4 years at top level still. He is so much endurance. I agree with Kante, I do, but with the Kante thing, can West Ham afford to go and spend £20 million on a player that basically that's it, that's what they're paying and that's what you're going to get, and we ain't getting no sell-on value for him at all. Obviously, not every player that you're going to buy is going to look to sell on for a profit, but you have got to look at this. That can West Ham really afford in this transfer window to go and spend £20 million out on a player of that sort of ilk? For me, I'm a bit on the fence with it. I think he's a top quality player, but I think if you're getting rid of Flynn Downs, surely you must be looking at some. You must have someone identified in that role. And going from a 23, 24-year-old Flynn to a 33-year-old Kante, I get the ability wise, but I don't get the longevity of it. Do you know what I mean? You can't say that you're going for a long-term plan here and then buying a short-term player. It just makes no sense to me. So, Kev, hope you're well, mate. I think his wages will be too high. I don't know. All depends on how much he loves Saudi, mate, if I'm being honest. And for me, if he wants to get back to London, then, he might say, you know what, he'll lower his wages. He's not a poor man. And he's one thing that N'Golo Kante is, he's a very humble man. Like, he's a man who's very humble, doesn't really care about money as such. He just plays the game. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, if West Ham give him an opportunity to come back to London and he's going to play for West Ham, then I think he might just drop his wages to a point. Because obviously West Ham can't afford his wages. Far from it. Do you know what I mean? He's okay for a couple more years. Toney for me. Ivan Toney's the guy, mate. I don't know how many more times I've said it so many times on this channel. I say it on social media. That if you want a player, go and get Ivan. He's the one, right? He's the one sitting there. And I read a report yesterday on where it come from, the Sun or the Times, or I can't remember where it was. But it basically turned around and said that it's West Ham and Tottenham who are in really for Toney. The other big clubs are not in for him. Manchester United ain't going to go and get him now because they just signed the striker from Bologna. Man City don't need him. Liverpool, I don't think he's a Liverpool type player. And then you go through the other teams like Arsenal, Chelsea. I think they're aiming bigger than Ivan Toney. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's out of us and Spurs now. He's going to choose. If it is out of us and Spurs, he has to make a choice to go for Spurs. But I think West Ham need to test the waters, really. Like, really try and sort of, have a go and see what comes out the other end. So, yeah. Hi from Cecile, pal. Oh, hello to you too, mate. J-Lo doesn't care about longevity. Kante still has the legs. He'll sign him. Yeah, I know, but can we afford to do that though, as a club? Like, really? Can we afford to go and spend £20 million out on a player that's only going to last about 2 years? Let's have it right. When he was at Chelsea, he was picking up a lot of injuries. Yeah, a lot of injuries, and that's one of the reasons why he sort of made the move to Saudi, because they were prepared to match the money that he wanted, and the league out there is not as intense, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, mate. I don't know on that one. I think I just don't get the transfer policy at West Ham. I really don't. For the life of me, it feels like a scattergun approach. It feels like we're just chucking a load of names out there and hoping a name comes back and sticks. We've been linked with all these dead players like Callum Wilson, like Calvin Lewin. For me, that's not proven. That's not making a statement. That's trying to sort of salvage. That's trying to muster a team up out of nothing, basically. Do you know what I mean? So, and another thing, Tim's got to keep going to Brazil, mate. This thing about him keep fucking off to Brazil every 5 minutes is starting to get a joke now. He's back in Brazil again for the Lucas Paqueta thing. But that geezer spent more time in Brazil than he has done on UK soil. And it's ridiculous. And he needs to start like... And the thing is, I don't want to have a go at Tim because the window doesn't shut for about another 7 or 8 weeks, right? But the striker front is a major issue at West Ham. That is a major concern. Like, we all know it as West Ham fans that Mikel Antonio's replacement has to be top drawer. Yeah? And for me, I feel that if they can't get the replacement for Antonio this window, Bowen's going to be the centre forward, and then they're going to flood it with wingers. Yeah, I'm seeing like Bergwijn being linked. I've seen Nelson, Zaha, Jota Silva. I've seen all these players linked, but we've not really made a concrete bid for a centre forward. Like, not gone out and gone, right, that's the centre forward that we want. Let's go and put a bid in for him. It feels like to me that West Ham do not know how to get a centre forward at this club. And there's a geezer in West London who's sitting there. Whether or not he wants to come to West Ham is a different story. But if you don't try and you don't ask, you won't get, so to speak. So, yeah. Let's have a look at your comments, see what you're saying. We've got Epic Hash Time. Kante has 0 years left at the top level. He's done. When he left Chelsea, don't be fooled by his performances at the Euros. Fair enough, mate. Kante looked good in the Euros. That's a different opinion from Trevor from South Africa. Scarf Man loves Cabana. He does, mate. He does. I've never known nothing like it in my life. I've never known nothing that our technical director spends more time in Brazil. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. He's brought back Guilherme, right? But people think this kid's a wonder kid before he's even done anything. Same thing again, right? We're jumping the gun, and we're thinking this geezer's going to be the next Neymar, right? We don't know how good this geezer is. No one knows how good how good Guilherme is. No one can sit there and say, "Yep, he's going to be this," and literally back it with money, right? Because they just don't know. I don't know, right? So at the minute, it's a toss of a coin if this geezer's going to be a success or not. But the amount of time that he's spent in Brazil over the last year is borderline shocking to a point, right? And he's brought back one player. Now, there's a player at Palermo's, was it Richard Rios, or Rios, however you pronounce his name, Colombian international. I see it today. And I see a game of him play against Brazil, right? Really good player. But Tim's just going over there, I swear he's having them like a pina colada. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is. I really don't. What we got here? So what? Aguerd looked world class in Qatar. Yeah, I know. Todabo is another one that's getting mentioned. Now, I'm going to be honest. The Todabo signing, that feels to me like a Steiden signing. I look at that signing and I think, yep, that's a Steiden appointment straight away, right? Just the way, like the profile of the geezer and everything. But some of these other signings that we're being linked with, they just don't feel. They feel like agent signings. They feel like Sullivan's agent signings. That's how they feel at the minute, and it's a bit concerning. I'm not gonna lie. Why not sign Correa from Inter Milan? Only 8 million. I don't know, mate. I don't know. There's a few players. There's the Juventus player who plays for Italy. Is it Chiesa or Chiesa? What his name is? Juve want 30 mil for him. Yeah, whether or not he'll come to us, another thing. But there's so many players out there in Italy, in Germany. And the thing is with Steiden, which I will say, is that for someone who was based in Germany for a long time, yeah, working with Bayer Leverkusen, looking at all the best up-and-coming German players, we have not been linked with one German. Not one. And that, to me, is like a bit of a red flag to a point, because if you have been sort of on that train with Bayer Leverkusen, built that side up to be the side it is today, then surely you must have been looking at players there before you decided to come to West Ham and tried to get them over to West Ham before Leverkusen got them. And we've been linked with none, really. The only one that we've been linked with that you could probably say is a joint Leverkusen-West Ham thing is Alex Garcia. Other than that, I've not seen any other player that looks like he could be a West Ham Leverkusen target. And that's a bit of a concern also. What we got, George X did say it's a genuine interest, but a long shot. It's paper news to make the fans think we're on it. No, I don't know, mate. I'm going to be honest, Rods, yeah. That's a West Ham signing written all over it. Do you know what I'm saying? 20 million for the geezer. It wouldn't surprise me. If he lowers his wage demands, he ends up at West Ham. Simple as that. N'Golo Kante, my star Frenchman at Euros, was lively. I thought he was decent at Euros, man. Do you know what I mean? And Scott says the women are beautiful in Brazil. They are, mate. The samba vibes in Brazil are a lovely place, and especially out in Rio. But I just don't understand how many times the geezer needs to go to Brazil to look at players. Do you know what I mean? I really don't. So I don't know. I really don't know on it. But the N'Golo Kante thing and the Eddie Nketiah thing irritates me because that feels like West Ham of old going in for players who are basically not good at the top at their top clubs. And I'm not saying West Ham are above that, but if someone said to me right now, who would you like to take from Arsenal? I'll take Smith Rowe from Arsenal. I really would. I think if you can sort out his injury concerns, yeah, and get him fit, firing in a good sort of platform for him, Smith Rowe would be perfect for West Ham. He really would. Now with the Paqueta situation, obviously, apparently, he's a free man now, right? You could sort of go and look at Smith Rowe and bring Smith Rowe in there. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, if someone said to me right now, you go Paqueta on the left, Emil Smith Rowe as a 10, Kudus on the right and Bowen up front, I probably would take that. I probably would take that because I don't know why I get this feeling with West Ham, right, and I always do, that on the striker front, they know every other position, West Ham, every other position going, yeah? But when it comes to strikers, they get a bit lost. They get a bit lost with strikers, and they go for people like a Danny Ings, who was a name, and people see us coming when it comes to strikers. Like the Danny Ings situation years ago, when we signed him for £18 million, I was like, well, you know, look what he's done. But he wasn't proven. He was a player that Villa couldn't wait to get rid of. Emery knew that he was never going to be in his plans and got him out the door. And the same thing's happening with other strikers currently right now. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know on that, man. I really don't. Players really good quality in terms of dribbling, you know, zones in English League and be best for him. They're asking £8 million with a £6 million can be taken or a loan with a right to buy. Kev says, hot today, James. Yeah, it is. It's lovely today, mate. Absolutely lovely. I'll show you my scenery. That's my scenery there. Looking very nice. Looking very nice here. But, you know, this is what it is. What you mean we face them, I'm a French fan. Fair enough. Fair enough, mate. If you're a French fan, your nation, let me have a lot of money. Hell of a lot of money. Viva France. Victor Osimhen seen in plaster littles. Here we go. Yeah, I know, mate. I know. I just don't get it. I just don't get the transfer policy, strategy, and it just baffles me. It really does, especially with West Ham. It really does. Like, honestly, yeah, when I think about it, we've got a game tomorrow, pre-season friendly with Dagenham Redbridge, and then after that, we're looking to go to America for basically them two games, one in Tampa and one in Pennsylvania, I think. I'm not sure where the other one is. But for me, like, West Ham should have these players already lined up. Like, this week, after the Max Kilman deal, which was, what, a week ago? 10 days ago? West Ham should be consistently trying to get people in the door, like, for Lopetegui to work with. Yeah? With the Ivan Toney one, with the Ivan Toney striker situation, that I think rumbles on all the way to the back end of the window. And I feel that Brentford are asking for a lot of money, and teams will go out, try and see if they can get the players that they want. If they can't get that, they've got the backup option of Toney sitting there. And if it comes to sort of a day or on the day where they're looking to sort of, no one's looking to buy Toney, if someone comes in with a bid of, say, 38 million, I think Brentford will fold and accept it. I really do, because they can't let the geezer run his contract down till January, because he'll go for like 20 million. And for a club the size of Brentford, I don't think they can let that sort of money go, in my opinion. We should ask Dan Ashton to come in as Dean Ashton. You're on about. Beautiful, James. I like the pond. Yeah, it's all right, mate. A bit of peace and tranquility in it. I will say that. Thoughts on Lopetegui's project and his error at the Irons, Hammers, similar fate like Seville. What do I think on Lopetegui? I think he's got big shoes to fill from Moyes. I think this season he gets a pass, but the football's got to be decent. The only issue that I will say with Lopetegui is I do believe he has to get top 10. And for a manager of his calibre, for someone who's managed Seville, he's won Europa Leagues, he's managed Real Madrid. I think he must get top 10 with his club. I really do. I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that's fair. I'm not asking for top 4. I'm not asking for top 6. I'm asking for top 10. Now, the issue that we've got is I think some fans will just accept anything because of last season's sort of season with Moyes, final season with Moyes. Now, that's all well and good, but you've got to have a standard. That's one thing I will say. You must have a standard and keep to that standard and all. And our standard is a top 10 team. Yeah, when I look at the teams that we are currently around, we're in that bracket with we're top of the rest. If you go the big 6, Villa, Newcastle, then the 9th place team is West Ham United. There is no team that should be higher than us in that position. I don't see a Brighton, a Bournemouth, a Brentford, Forest, Everton. Everton, you could probably say, because they are a big club historically, but I look at us at the minute. We're in a better moment than them. So I think a top 10 finish, mate, and that is just a given, really, for me. Because yes, you guys, you won the Europa Conference League, but try and get European tournament again. I would like us to get Europe again, mate. Honestly, I'll be honest. If West Ham get Europe again, then that'd be an amazing achievement. Like for us to go and get it again. I think we're a big club for that. But also, what people got to understand, especially in our own fan base, is that when it comes to West Ham, we have to be ambitious because people like Kudus, Alvarez, Paqueta, Bowen could go. But if teams come in for Jared Bowen, if a team drops, say, 90 million on Jared Bowen to come to their club, then our owners are not too shy to accept the pound note. And that's why our standards got to be maintained and progress, really, up the leagues to a point. What we got is a look. Right, I've done 23 minutes. That's enough from me. Right, enjoy your day wherever you are. Enjoy your weekend. The sun is shining. I'll show you a glimpse of the sky where I am. Lovely blue skies. Nice little pond there, and everything. And yeah, listen. To wrap it up from me, N'Golo Kante is a toss of a coin job for me. Like, yeah. Or if we don't get him, fair enough. If we do get him, fair enough. Eddie Nketiah and Reece Nelson in a £50 million deal, I think is literally a joke. I'm not going to lie. And Reece Nelson, I think he's got a point to prove, but Nketiah has been there and done it. He was there at Leeds, didn't do anything. He's there at Arsenal. I don't think he's a striker that we need. I just don't see it. And for me, I think we need a striker like an Ivan Toney, who could come in and hit the ground running straight away, and he's a 15 goal a season minimum striker. So yeah, and yeah, we will see what happens there. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Peace.